Well, hello and welcome to another Wednesday Walkie Talkie. I actually think this is the 100th episode, not just of the Wednesday Walkie Talkie, but of the Walkie Talkies in their entirety. I just carried on the numbering system to avoid any kind of confusion, so the vast bulk, I've not been doing this for 100 weeks. No, I've been doing this, I think it was from September last year. But it's the 100th episode. Not got anything special planned though. Nothing, no celebration, just a thank you to those that have watched these sort of rambling videos. But yeah, it's nice to just share some of my thoughts while I have a walk. Go out and do walking 6 days a week. And in the past, I was doing about 6 videos a week doing this, but I was struggling for things to talk about and what have you. So, and it was taking over doing my playthrough videos. They were sort of getting pushed to the back, which was what the channel was, the main focus of the channel, so I had to rebalance all of that. And now I think I've got it to a good place, to be honest. So, like I say, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. No, I'm just kidding. No, thanks for watching these, and to those of you that comment on my videos and like the videos, it is appreciated. I know my channel's not a very big channel, even though I have been doing it for, well, on and off. I've been doing this on YouTube now for about 15, 16 years. So obviously I'm not the person to come to in how to have a successful YouTube career, because I think after 15, 16 years, I think if I've not been able to make it provide me with a living, I don't think I ever will. But that's just the way it is. But anyway, so Sony's State of Play happened yesterday, and my wallet breathed a big sigh of relief. As I tweeted earlier today, or posted on X is the correct terminology, nothing interested me. There was a time where game announcements used to be both excited and also, how the hell am I going to be able to afford both to buy all these games and then afford the time to play them all? That's not a problem anymore now. It's quite the opposite, in fact. And yeah, nothing interested me. As somebody who has enjoyed the God of War series, I've zero interest in the new one, because it's not a God of War. They've just borrowed the name. They bait and switch. That's not Kratos. I'm no interest. I play God of War because I want to play as Kratos. That's the character that is synonymous with the series. I've no interest in playing some spin-off that borrows the name in order to try to stimulate sales, because it wouldn't stand on its own 2 feet otherwise. That's got quite dense there, the foliage now down by the water. It used to be, in the older videos, you used to be able to see quite a bit, but it's just a little area now. Let's go on. The ground's still, it's not too dry. We've had quite a bit of rain Our little heat wave finished. It was about 4 days, I think, and then the heavens opened, and it's been quite wet since. So that's generally how it goes in summer around here. You'll have a brief period of heat where it'll be miserably hot and humid, and then it'll cool down and then start raining. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, I don't like playing Halo when I'm not playing as the Master Chief. It always feels just a little bit cobbled together. I think, was it Halo 5? What was the one? It was one of them where you were split between playing another Spartan and the Master Chief. And the other Spartan was the Spartan that was going out after the Master Chief, and I just thought that was chronic. Really didn't like it. Like I say, God of War, it's Kratos. That's the character, that's what people want to play. Otherwise, it's not God of War. So they've just taken the name and stuck it on another product. Tomb Raider is just a remaster of a remaster, and that's been pushed back till next year. So, not really worth getting excited about. It's squirrels. A remaster of a remaster. I mean, come on. Not exactly a system seller, is it? So, yeah. No real interest there. It's quite dense in there now. Reminds me a little bit of the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings, when the hobbits are on the road and they hear the Black Rider, and that, is it like, what do they call it, a snap zoom or something? The camera does that weird zoom effect. Like, get off the road. Kind of reminded me a little bit of that, where the trees are sort of grown over. Except I don't think they had a concrete road like this in Hobbiton. But they were still in the Shire, weren't they? No, weren't in Hobbiton, they were still in the Shire. Anyway, yeah, I don't think concrete had come to the Shire. But, yeah. I mean, alright, there's this Wolverine game coming out, that might be alright, but, to be honest, they always find a way of contriving to make some of these things suck, so I'm not too sure about that. We'll see, but again, I'm not overly excited by it. I know that's it, really. I mean, it was just a big nothing. And it's been the same with, like, Nintendo. I think the one that I might have some degree of enthusiasm for is Microsoft, and that's one game so far, and that's Gears of War Judgment. No, Emergence. Oh, I've forgotten what it's called now. Is it Emergence? Anyway, it's the prequel to the original Gears game. The game they should have made instead of Gears 4 and 5. Because that was another series I want to play as Marcus. No interest in the other characters. Marcus's son was as dull as dishwater. And so what was it? I can't even remember her name. In Gears 5, was it Cat or something? I don't know. boring as all hell. Not what I wanted. So yeah, that's about it. And it's like I said in my post on X, or I'm just going to call it tweet, to be honest with you. I just don't think new games are for me now. I guess that's the way it goes in life. I mean, they were for many, many years. So quite why all of a sudden they're not? Well, I guess it's because games are made by marketing people who don't really know the job very well now. Why the industry is struggling tremendously. Sounded a bit Trump like that, didn't it? Tremendous. It's struggling tremendous. But it is. The AAA is struggling big time. And I see nothing there that will change my mind on that. But it's, like you say, I mean, gaming in general these days sucks. The fact that everything now installs onto a hard drive that when you buy the machine isn't big enough to sustain, more than maybe 4 or 5 AAA games, and then your hard drive's full. If you're lucky, you get 4 or 5 on there now, because obviously these games need like 100 gigabytes. Because the art of compressing data and making data, shrinking it down, is gone. They've transferred that problem now of storage. That's been transferred onto the gamer, onto the end user. So that's the other thing as well, is I just don't have any space to play to install and play these games. And you just think, I can live without it now. It's not convenient. Gaming is not convenient anymore. Console gaming has gone backwards on that front. It's one of its unique selling points, and I've laboured this point before, was its convenience, its ease of use, and now it's not convenient. You buy games that are broken. You buy games that the disc is only a key to unlock the game now. It doesn't actually contain anywhere near the significant amount of data that it should, even if it's on a Blu-ray or, even a 4K disc, as the modern consoles have 4K players in them. So, it's not very good, is it? It doesn't exactly thrill you to know that in order to play the newest game, you've got to uninstall something you've already got. And then know that if you want to play that game again, you've got to sit through the pain of waiting for it to download all over again, which could take hours. I mean, that's the thing with Gears, the new Gears game will be that I'll have to sit for hours while it installs and downloads and installs, because the Xbox Series X insists on connecting to the slowest wireless router frequency, the 2.4 gigahertz instead of the 5, which is faster. but you can't control that. So yeah, it's wonderful. Modern gaming. And it's raining. I don't know how, but it is. Ooh, little bug there. I'm going to step on it. So yeah, that's where we're at. Where I'm at. I never really had FOMO, or fear of missing out. But I always enjoyed games and always wanted to play the latest releases of good games. And these days, I'm just not bothered, really. I mean, there's one Gears game, and that's pretty much it. I don't even know if that's coming out this year. It might not be. But we're sort of faced with the geese up there, but faced with the sort of very real prospect of, you know, there not being anything I'm interested in buying game-wise for the next 6 months, which would be absolutely unheard of only a few years ago. But there isn't. Most of the stuff seems to be just DLC for stuff I already have, like the American and Euro truck. They know that type of stuff, but you know, again, the DLC for that comes quite infrequently, once every few months. The only other thing is the game I have a love-hate relationship with is the F1 game. Now, they're not releasing a new game today, they're just releasing a season update DLC, which is something I think we should have been doing anyway, to be honest. And that's it. That's it. Nothing else. So, you know, I know it's different for everyone. I'm sure there are some people massively excited for the not God of War that's been announced. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. I think it's just not for me. If you like that kind of thing, if you're excited by that kind of thing, good. Hope it's a good game for you. But I'm not interested. I couldn't care less. Yeah, no, that's about it for that. Oh yeah, and the other thing is yet another game being sold on Steam that doesn't work on modern systems. Though Steam requires you to have a modern operating system in order to access it. That's Far Cry 3. Any of you thinking of getting it, don't. It worked fine for a while, and then it just continuously crashes. More junk being sold on Steam that I can't get a refund on, because apparently, you know, that's the way it is. If you play the game for more than 2 hours and then there is a terminal bug which manifests, that is entirely down to the fact that I have the temerity to own a modern PC. Both Steam and Ubisoft don't give a red hot shit. So, I think the rule is for older games, if they're not on GOG, they're not on GOG, don't buy them. Because on GOG, the games have to work on modern systems. And so, and they have to be able to work offline as well. So, in general, it's safe to say that if it's not available on there, and it's a particularly older game like Far Cry 3 is, then it's because both Ubisoft know it's broken, won't fix it, and they want you to be stuck online with it. Even though there is no online functionality for the game anymore, they still want you to connect to their servers. So Ubisoft can get fucked, Steam can get fucked. I think it's immoral to sell something that you know is not going to work. And you have to have at least a Windows 10 capable PC to be able to access Steam. So even if you've got an old PC that says is running Vista, Windows 8, Windows 7, XP, God knows what, you can't access Steam. So you can't play the game. So fuck Valve as well. And fuck Gabe Newell. I'm sick and tired of people giving him praise. He's running a company that knowingly sells shit that doesn't work. And his company doesn't care, and neither does he. All praising him for what? He's nothing more than a money-grabbing turd, like the rest of these corporate cocks are. So I don't understand why this man has been given so much praise and a free pass, because I think he's immoral. If he had any kind of morality, he would insist that all games that he's selling on that fucking store of his must work on a modern system. If the requirement of Steam is Windows 10, then all games that he's selling on there must work, or don't sell them. But he doesn't. He's proven that time and time again and all. Just listen to the way that he talks about things. No time for him. Used to like the guy. But I remember years ago him going on about that he can't monetize his games enough. And I thought, oh, right, okay. Because you're really struggling for money, aren't you? That's why you've not had a Half-Life 3. You got Half-Life series that was abandoned. You wanted people to invest in these episodes. Like Half-Life 2 episode 1, 2 and 3 was supposed to be to finish the story. And then they did episodes 1 and 2, left a cliffhanger, and then never did the story. So they basically lied to people. He lied. He got people to buy this episodic content with the promise that it would finish the Half-Life 2 story, and then never did. Conned you into getting into buying content with a promise that was never realised, and not because they didn't have the money to do it. They bloody well did, and they have done. No. It's because they don't give a shit about you. They happily take the money off you and they'll give you nothing in return. That's what Steam basically is. So that's my rule now, going forward with older games. If they're not on GOG, I'm not buying them, because Steam and Valve cannot be trusted. And the game publishers certainly can't. I mean, one of the devs of Far Cry 3 actually responded to my review with the most base level, "Have you tried this?" Yeah. I've spent hours trying to get that bloody game to work. And aside from going and downloading a file, an unofficial file that may or may not work, so an unsanctioned, unauthorized, unofficial file off a third-party website that may or may not fix the problem, there is no way, if you're running a modern system, that you can get this game to work. And nowhere on the Steam store does it say that. Nowhere does it caution this game may not work on modern systems. But I know why Ubisoft won't fix it, because they'll launch a remaster, like they did with Assassin's Creed 4, where they patched Assassin's Creed 4 a few years back now, and they broke the Kenway's Fleet section of the game. It's bloody raining. What a shithole. They broke Kenway's Fleet section of Assassin's Creed 4. They could have easily fixed it by rolling back the patch, but they didn't. So it don't work. And guess what? They're releasing an Assassin's Creed 4 remaster. So you've got to buy the fucking game again. Even though I've already bought it. Shithousery. This is what I'm saying. Hear that, ducks? This is what I'm saying. It's absolute shithousery. It's why I'm done with this bullshit industry, which the games industry is. It's a bullshit industry. It's run by shitheads in the AAA space, liars, charlatans, absolute bollockheads of the highest order. He taught nothing but absolute shite. They pump out broken shit. They bait and switch. They don't listen to what gamers want. They've lost touch with the core base. I mean, what I would suffix the state of play announcements with at the end of it is look forward to how many of these studios have mass layoffs shortly, like weeks after the game comes out and doesn't bloody sell. I'm not suggesting just God of War, but I'm just the not God of War game. But I'm talking about in general, because that's what happens these days, because they don't make games for gamers. They don't make games for what people want. They pump out broken shit that's uninteresting, that's laughably bad, and then when it doesn't do well, they lay everybody off. And then the very same people that say that people like me are a problem because we call this out for what it is, then start complaining about the games industry laying people off. That's because people don't have to buy shit they don't want. And you go out there and say, well, you don't have to buy it. Yeah, I know. No, I don't need you to tell me that. I don't need some muppet on the internet to tell me that I don't need to buy it. Don't worry. Don't need your permission to not buy something, you fuck up. And then people don't. And then there are mass layoffs at these companies, and they're all there like, there's mass layoffs at these companies here. These game publishers are terrible. Yeah, well, that's because, they didn't listen. They don't give people what they want. And especially in this day and age where people can't afford to live, let alone play some shitty fucking video game. I mean, Christ almighty. I mean, talk about a perfect storm of retardedness. It doesn't even come into it. Like right about now, you should be desperately giving people what they want because people really can't afford. You have to make something that people will go all out to get. Where, people will find a way. They'll go without something else in order to get it. And you're not doing that. Wow. Now is the time you should be making the most compelling, attractive, sought after video games ever. Now is the time that you should be doing that because basically people aren't buying your stuff anymore because they can't really afford to. And instead you pump out stuff that even the best of times would struggle to sell or would struggle to have any engagement beyond the initial launch period or launch window. I mean, there's just so many games that come out with fanfare and everyone's saying it's the best game ever. And then, a few weeks later, nobody's talking about it and nobody's playing it. You look at the activity numbers on the internet and the drop-off is immense. So, all of these advocates for this kind of stuff that come out there and say, we have to, this game is fantastic and it's awesome and it's brilliant. Well, why are you not playing it? If it's so good. Probably because of the fact that it ain't that good. You just jumped on the bandwagon, wanted to go out there and, go to everyone, look, I'm playing it, it's wonderful. And then, suddenly you realise actually it's shit. But you don't go on the internet and say that. After you've blasted people and told people how wrong their opinion is for saying it was crap in the first place. No, you don't come out and hold your hands up and go, you know what, you were right, it was shit. No, you just don't. You just quietly move on to something else. I see you. But, yeah, it's a bit of a rant for the ages, but I'm pissed off with it. I'm done. I've been done for a while, but, you always have some sort of hope, some sort of maybe they'll get their act together, but they don't. They never will. They'll never learn. Because they've been bought up. The people now that are making this shit, the people that are running these companies, they've been bought up to be told that they're never wrong. So why would they change? Even when they are wrong, they've been taught that they're never wrong. If you don't turn around and show people they're wrong and they need to do better, and you don't raise them that way, that when they're wrong they need to do better, well, guess what? You raise a society of people that don't think they're wrong, even when they are. So they'll just keep doubling down and making the same mistakes, making the same shit. And all the while, people lose their jobs and they still don't wake up. These companies, these corporations that, desperately need bailout investments from anybody, even some of the most morally reprehensible companies and people from some of the most morally reprehensible countries. When it comes to human rights violations, they don't care. They're there telling you that you're an absolute shithouse for not liking the game, that is crap. But, gamer that goes on X or whatever other social platform that happens to be and says, this game's crap, we're the bad guys. Not the corporation that you're advocating for that takes money from absolutely deplorable people. There's something for your 100th episode. And that's what it's like. That's what it's like. And these companies shouldn't need investment from dodgy places and dodgy organisations. They shouldn't need it. And they wouldn't need it if they give people what they wanted. Because strangely enough, good stuff sells. Anyway, I'm getting piss wet through here and I've had enough. So yeah, bit of an epic rant. Well, not epic rant, I wasn't really shouting, was I? But just a bit of a rant at the end there. Well, the whole thing's been a bit of a rant. But yeah, that's how I see things. So thanks for watching. And maybe I'll see you next week for another one. Catch you later.